Just Eff It.
Hi, I'm Romy, an identity coach helping others who struggle with their sexual identity and families of queer youth find their path of understanding and acceptance.
And I'm Carla, a mom empowerment coach empowering moms to own their new identities and motherhood journeys.
And together we are the
EFFing
Madres. We are here to invite you guys into stories of some inspiring madres
who have changed their lives through an Eff It moment. So here we go. Just Eff It.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. What is it? Mompreneur Mondays?
Mompreneur Mondays, Monday Madres, Motivation Mondays. Yeah, right?
Camaraderie Mondays.
Camaraderie Mondays. All the things.
All the things.
We are here. I'm excited. I'm feeling good this Monday. I mean, I don't know if I'm looking good this Monday. I had a lip reaction last night. So for all of you that are looking at my lips today and watching, I had an allergic reaction and spent my evening in the ER. And these are lessons we learn in this journey of.
Yeah.
It didn't go so well. So if you're watching me today, bear with me.
So who are we, Romy?
Well, we are two best friends, two Latinas, two madres who had an Eff It moment, didn't know what the fuck we were doing, started a podcast, enrolled ourselves in a coaching program, and we're almost a year.
I know. It's crazy. That's crazy.
It's really crazy and really pretty awesome. So we're a year into having a podcast, which is a space for other mothers to come on and share their Eff It moments, their ups, their highs, their lows, their failures, their wins, and really just create a community for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. Yeah. We're here to motivate. We need the motivation, and we hope everyone gets motivated and inspired from these moments because they happen to all of us at just different times. So there are people that have gone through it, obviously, on our podcast, and people that are in the midst of it, like we are, and other people that have come on, and some people that just are searching for it. And so we hope that this might help some people out there just take that first step, because that's always the scariest thing to do. But yeah, so that's who we are. So who do we have on today?
We have Kat, and she is a mama that's been on social media. She's got a really active presence, and she's just really vulnerable and puts herself out there. She's beautiful, and I have followed her for a few years now. I'm from Long Beach. She lives in Long Beach, and I kind of found her through mutual friends that knew her. But I reached out to her, and I was just like, I'd love to have you on. You know, I'm just so curious because she's such an inspiring mama that I followed. So I'm really excited. I'm excited to get to know her and hear her Eff It moment.
Nice. Well, we're going to bring her in just a moment. We have Kat Emmerich here. She's the mama we're talking to today. I think I got it right.
Yes.
I butchered it before, people. But anyway, we're going to jump right in to the questions. So, Kat, when did you decide to just Eff It, and why?
I would say my Eff It moment as a mom was definitely upon becoming a single mom, was telling myself it was okay to not fit into the box of what motherhood looks like for so many other people, or what we think it should look like per social media or any other area.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can relate to this. I've gone through becoming a single mom. We've gone through not looking like what motherhood is supposed to look like. I think it's an important message because we have this idea that we're going to get to motherhood and it's going to look a certain way. And all of us have our own journey. And I think that's, so, why we created this podcast in this space was everybody has a different story, and we need to kind of come together and lift each other up through these big Eff It moments and stories, as opposed to like having so much judgment. Like bring moms together more, because everyone's journey is different. So I love that you did that. I can relate to that because I don't really give a shit what anyone thinks. So I just do me. I'm paying my bills. I'm taking care of my daughter, and I do me. So
I think I've also become a lot more open. The more people that I meet that feel that same way as you do, because I feel that same way, and obviously you do too, Romy, the more validating it is, and the more less alone. Because for a while there, I felt like, God, I don't feel like what that version of mom is supposed to be. And I also don't feel like I look like it either. So I feel really kind of isolated, especially like during COVID, when all that, you're not even around people. But the moment I started like talking to people, there are a lot of moms that feel that same way, but like the societal norm of what it's supposed to look like is just so, I don't know, it's so antiquated, and just I don't know, a lot of people just don't feel it. So I think it's good to talk about it because moms out there that feel this same way need to know they're not alone. And it's okay to
Yes.
have these feelings and not want to seem or feel like what a mom is supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, I have two sons in high school, so whenever I go to like high school, well, they're out of high school now, but whenever I go to like parent teacher night or whatever, I always feel like I stick out like a sore thumb because everybody in high school, like the parents, all kind of wear like Dockers and like boat shorts, and it's like not my vibe, and I'm like not going to try to fit in, but you do have to take what comes with it, I guess, and it's a little hard, I think, for the kids.
Yeah.
I 100% get that. My daughter, she is in a little private school, a Christian private school here in Texas. I'm in Austin, Texas, and I definitely show up for school events not not feeling like but like I found my way. I'm like, this is, I love my kid. We all want to be here. Like, we're going to blend. And some of the friends I have, like, you would never think that we would be friends, but I'm sure you understand this. Even though you may look a certain way or not fit into what is supposed to be a mom, there's nothing like that though. But like, once people get to know you, you're all there for the same reasons. You're just moms trying to
Yeah.
get your kids to school, trying to make good humans. It's all the same thing, no matter what the package or lifestyle looks like.
Mhm.
So what did you like when you decided as a mom? You've got older kids now. What point in this journey of yours were you like, fuck this? Like, I'm just going to stay true to who I am.
I really feel like honestly it was we went to a farmers market, and there's a farmers market like locally that happens every Wednesday. It's beautiful. Like there's a big piece of grass where all the families play together, and like 99% of the people there are families, like mom, dad families. And I always struggled with it. Like I almost avoided it because I didn't want to go by myself with the kids because it would make me feel sad or left out, or I don't know, being judged, I guess, for being there alone with four kids. And I think that was the moment when I was like, you know what? Like I looked at them and they were happy and playing in the grass and smiling at each other. And I like got teary eyed because I'm just like, why am I so worried about finding someone to complete our family when like we're already complete? I don't need an extra piece. It would be nice, but it's not necessary. So I just wanted to like move forward, like always feeling like a unit because we are. Whoever comes in and out of our life, they come and they go, but we're always going to be together. So I think that's like the most important thing.
Yeah. I think that's a really, I mean, like I said, as being like a single mom who's dated and been dating, and I have my kid, at the end of the day, I can relate to that. And that's why I'm glad you're sharing this, because there's probably a ton of moms that can relate to this, that have gone through, whether they just don't have another partner or they're raising their kids or it's their unit, whatever that looks like. It doesn't, like you said, like no matter what comes, you don't need anything to complete it. You're the home, you're the family, you're the mom. And I feel that so strong with my daughter. Like no matter what is going on, Carla's seen my journey. It's like, it's still her and I at the end of the day, and we're doing it and we're
Yeah,
killing it. And we don't have to have any specific family look a specific way. It just doesn't need to be that anymore.
yeah,
Mm-mm. Not at all. And it's nice to like you looking at your kids laughing and smiling. It just goes to show that you're providing them with all the love, that some families with two partners can't
Can't
even
do.
give because
yeah,
they've got a terrible relationship. So you look at your kids and they're happy and they're loved, like you're doing it.
absolutely. That's all that
Yeah.
matters.
That's all that matters.
Yes.
So when you I guess when you were having that moment, that realization, like what were the feelings that you were feeling? Were you just like, I know that you said you were sad and you were trying to avoid going, but like once you realized, fuck it, I'm just not going to let that like dictate how I live my life and my motherhood journey. How did it make you feel?
Well, I think the feelings I've always struggled with, like in the whole like family unit situation, is like me feeling unlovable as a single mom, or like we're sort of made to feel like we aren't allowed to have standards because we have kids or baggage. So we have to just like, you should be grateful it. And I just was done with the you should be grateful I'm even talking to you vibe that I get from guys. And that was it. Like, I was just like, I don't, it's like a finally accepting it, I guess, instead of always like pining for something that wasn't coming my way, and knowing that I just have to make sure that I stay solid for them and not allow those sorts of things to influence my mood. So I was like keeping them from joy and having fun at the farmer's market because of my own stuff that's internal that they don't understand. And that's not really fair. And that's like not the mom I want to be. So that's kind of what led to the realization.
Yeah.
And do you feel like you really are sitting strong in that? Do you feel stronger in that now, in that space of like, I don't effing care? Like, I'm sure it's a journey, right? I'm sure there's the ups and downs to it because we talk about that in these effort moments. They're not always beautiful and glorious, but like, do you feel really confident in like owning what you're worth and what your family is?
I am now, but I would be lying if I didn't say I was like frustrated. I wasn't frustrated or annoyed at, people wasting my time when it comes to like dating and stuff. I just feel like my time is very valuable now. So if there's even like a little bit of a red flag, there's like no reason for me to move forward. Like I don't need to like find your potential buried within. Like I'm good. If it's not on your t-shirt, we're not going any further.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's got to be so hard too cuz like yeah, you have these kids and these people come in and they see your life and it's like they think in some way like, "Oh, you've all these kids, you're a single mom, we're doing you a favor." But at the same time like I've really come to feel this over my journey. It's like I know what I bring and if you get to be a part of me and my kids' life, like you're welcome because it's really special, and like you're welcome that we let you in on any of this. It's not like we need anybody. It's like we have something really beautiful and I think a lot of single moms know that and feel that and we
Yeah.
need to shift that like view of someone needs to come in and like rescue them.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, the rescue part is hard.
Yeah.
And also, I'm just like, I have a 3-bedroom house in Southern California and I pay all my bills myself. I don't get child support. So, like, I'm like, I don't need you.
I was just gonna say, single moms are like the strongest fucking people on the planet. Like, I don't know how you guys do it. Like, I have someone, and I sometimes I'm like, what the fuck? So you guys are bad asses.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
yeah, you should definitely stand in that power. And people, obviously, now that you are, I'm sure that that energy that you give off, people can sense it. Like you also attract a different sort of person when you finally stand in that power.
Yeah, it's
So
definitely more repelling at the moment.
It's better to repel than welcome everybody. When we're too open and like we let too many people into our space that we work so fucking hard for, and then we watch them take advantage of it, that's the shitty feeling. Cause
yeah.
I know the feeling of like, yeah.
I was walking around like, basically, I described it as like walking around with no skin. Like, that's how I felt. Like, I just was always like, come here, let me take care of you. And I was attracting a lot of men with mommy issues unbeknownst to me, but they just like think I'm gonna help them like learn how to like pay their car payment or. And I'm just like, no, that's not what I'm here for. So
It really is a balance though that you have to find because like for me, I have armor on. You're like, I have no
Yeah.
skin, I have armor on. So it's like you have to find that like that perfect middle ground because you don't want this.
Carla and I are completely the opposite, Kat. Like we're complete. I'm like the most like, come here, let me feed you and rescue and love you and
And
pull
I'm
you off
like,
of the ground. And Carla's like, don't touch me, don't look at me, don't hug me. Like we're so opposite. But your energy, I've followed you on social media for a long time. I was in Long Beach, so I know some people that you know. I'm in Austin now, but I followed you and I've always gotten that vibe from you. That's why I reached out to you. Is there's this vulnerability to you and you're very honest and raw, which I've always been as well. So I respect it. But by putting yourself out there, it's really scary to do that. I do it all the time. Carlin knows this. This is something I have always lived in, but it's so helpful to people. So just know that you're seen because like I've seen you and watched you and I'm like, oh, she's like really like emotional and in touch with herself and this mom and she's doing this stuff. So like as we're looking for moms to come on, I was like, you just had that energy of like she's like out there just doing her, you know? And people yeah, people see that.
you get like good feedback. I get tons of positive feedback, but there's like the one or two messages you get that are like really just like really mean. Like I don't know like how else to say it. I'm just like, wow. Like it knocks the
Oh,
wind and you're kind of like, what am I doing? But this like helps me. Like talking about it helps me. And I know I feel isolated all the time because I'm alone, and I'm sure you do, and it can be isolating when you don't like fit into the mom groups, or you don't, I don't have any mom friends really, honestly. Most of the women I'm friends with are not moms.
And see, I have like all mom friends, like all mom friends out here.
I was gonna say, just you wait. I'm moving to Southern
Yeah, she's
California.
moving
You and
back
I could be
home.
friends because you would be the mom in the mom group that I'd be like,
Yeah.
I want to be her friend.
But like I have this feeling with me, like when I come, when I come to her school and I know that either people are looking at me or trying to figure out, is she with women? Is she with men? She's got tattoos? Is she this? Like trying to figure out what I am, and I'm like, I know you're all questioning, but like, we're going to be friends. I'm going to homeroom mom. We're going to be friends. I love you guys. You're going to love me. Our kids are going to play. So whatever little like confusion is happening, I just rip it off. And as soon as I do, it's really allowed me to get to know so many different women that I would not probably normally visually be friends with, and I love them. And I love how different we are.
I do feel like as like moms who don't look like other moms, it's like we also, I mean, everybody judges, everybody has opinions like subconsciously. So I think there are women I look at where I'm like, I don't think it, but I know I would probably never approach her or like go to a movie with her or go out for drinks, Like, so we're doing the same thing. I think we're just like looking at
Yeah.
like
I love that you said that. That's really important because yeah, we are doing the same thing. And that's what I'm trying to say is that like I stopped doing that. I stopped going after my like tattoo badass, like loud ass friends that are going to be moms, like Carla and I've been friends forever, but I started letting myself become friends with like everyone and really getting to know their stories. And I love people's stories. I love women's stories. I love people's journeys. So like even though they're so different, it's so beautiful to have this eclectic group of moms that like you would never think would be friends, like full on loving each other, and sometimes we're just like we're going to be more opposite.
Yeah.
Because we do that to other people,
Yeah, absolutely. I know I do for sure. Like I just hide in the corner when I go to school events. I don't really put myself out there, so I can't blame people for not approaching me. I mean, I'm definitely vibing them out. So I'm not mean. I'm just like I think I'm just so guarded and like I don't know.
Yeah. That's what I
Yeah.
was just gonna say. I think that's probably you're just protecting yourself.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
But I'm glad you're making all the friends. That's good.
I mean,
She'll
I
make
feel
friends
like
with a fucking tree. Like literally, I'm like, why are you talking to everybody?
Do you need any water? Like I got it.
I've just always been like that. But Carla's very similar to you in that way, where she's very guarded with like her space and her time. And like when I signed up for homeroom mom, Carla was like, nope, hard no, not gonna happen. I was like,
There's no way. I couldn't.
No way.
Nope.
Oh God, I love it. Okay, so by doing this, then by being in this like effort space of just being you for your family, what has it done for your family, for you and your kids?
We're really, really tight. I'm like a super sarcastic person and mom, and they are going to be shining examples of sarcasm when they grow up. We just like have so many inside jokes and ways that we talk to each other, and people on the outside might be like what? Like you said that, in front of your kids or whatever. Like, but it's just the way we work. Like the banter is there. Like we're so tight. So there's no way anybody could come in and mess it up. And I think that's like the coolest part because even when I'm sad or whatever, like my daughters like pick up on it. I'm very much a, hey, mom needs 30 minutes to like regroup. Like I'm just feeling pretty heavy. Let me go in my room. And she'll come in and she'll like pet my face and she'll be like, you're a strong mommy. Like you're independent woman. You slay. Just like, so
I
I'm
love that.
very like I'm not raising them to be that way. That's just how they're becoming, but they're becoming very empathetic and observant of people around them, and they're careful to not tiptoe around feelings, but just kind of show up in the ways that the people they love need them to show up, if that makes sense.
That's beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, like you're modeling it to them. So you're doing, you're saying you're not teaching them. It's just you're modeling it. So they're seeing you and they're taking it on.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty
that's
cool to see. It's like really cool.
yeah.
And if I'm something wrong, or if I like raise my voice at them, or I'm snappy with them, which happens,
Yeah.
I always apologize, or I always make sure they know, like, hey, I messed up. Like, I'm human. I'm sorry. You didn't do anything. Like, just making sure they're never carrying extra stuff with them. So I think in not focusing on the outward as much, or trying to fit in, or not trying to like look like this perfect family, I've accepted we are completely imperfect, and our imperfectionism is like absolutely beautiful, and I would not change it for anything. Like, even for our straight A honor roll students.
Yeah.
Like, they're great kids, great students, but like, I'm not that type of parent. Like, it doesn't press me as much.
I think in this generation, we talk about this a lot on this podcast, Carla and I. It's like we're just different parents now. We've all been through different generations that raised us and saw what that did. And then a lot of us are trying to, heal and be in therapy and fix the shit that happened to us. And I know like what you just said in regards to like apologizing and owning it and just being really authentic with your children. I also have gone that approach. And like, again, I think it's really important just to let your kids know when you're sorry, or that you're not perfect, or you're not this like leader of the house kind of thing, but you're one with them. And I think it's really beautiful the more I hear women come on here and break down the walls that I feel like so many of us were raised by. I feel like we're just doing it different.
Oh,
And we're
absolutely.
raising different humans, and the world can possibly be fucking better because we've got different types of like
It has to.
parents. It has
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just feels a lot more like diverse in the way parenting is going, but there's like a common theme.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we are our generation and younger are being provided with a lot of tools, but also seeking out a lot of
Mm-hmm.
tools to be, because like we don't want our kids. I mean, look, our kids will probably have some sort of something. Like we're not perfect humans. Like that's just the way it is. But like I don't think that they're going to carry the things that we got
No.
from our parents, because we're making a conscious effort to break that fucking generational trauma. Like
Yeah.
the world has to move in a more aware, mindful, peaceful place with this generation coming up by the way that we're parenting. So I am very hopeful.
Accountability is like the most important thing, I think, that we've gained, because our parents are, I mean, I tell my mom, you made me feel like this, and she's like, no, I didn't. It's very like no accountability on that generation
Mhm.
at all. Like, they will
Yeah.
not, they'll be
No.
like, well, I remember it different. And you're like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be suffering at 3 a.m.
I, my mom will like tell the story of our childhood, and I'm like, oh, did we grow up in the same house? Like, what story are you telling? Like, I feel like I'm listening to some fiction.
And what are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, I think our generation, our parents were always right and the kids were always wrong. Like there
Always.
was never like, let me sit down and understand your side. Let me learn from you. You're right. No way. No
Mm-mm.
way.
It's, I mean, like, to one thing, honestly, I'll keep it short, but my daughter has a really severe sensory issue. So she only will wear one outfit. She will not wear anything else anymore. It used to be 3 outfits, now it's one. And it's summertime, and she has to wear pants and this like polyester dress she'll only wear. When I was a kid, I had the same issue with like socks and underwear. And my mom would just like get really, really frustrated with me and like yell at me and be like, you're wearing this. And like, it was very like shutting me down. And I think with Ever, my approach is very like, you're okay, everything's okay. I'm gonna wait here as long as it takes for you to like get situated and get ready. Even if we're late, it's fine. I'll let the school know. And then she breaks down and she's like, why am I not normal? Why am I like this? Why do I have this problem? I hate my problem. And then she said the other day, she's like, I'm a good girl. Like, I don't deserve this.
Oh,
And I was just like, oh my God.
But you're put into the space to be the mother that like you needed, right? For your daughter.
Oh,
yeah.
100%. So I
And
always look, I'm like, what would I have needed in this moment? And
yeah,
exactly how I show up, like, regardless of how I feel.
same. I think that's the biggest thing. Same all the time. I'll see things come up and I'll feel like that childhood in me and the relationship with my mom come up. And I'm like, oh wait, how do I show up for the kid that I needed someone to show up for my daughter,
Yeah.
And like that's again tied into just like us really trying to do it different.
I think we're
Yeah.
doing a pretty good job.
I'd say so.
I think so. I'm curious to know, like, as since you've had this effort moment, but also as a single mom, like what fears come up for you? Like, do you have anything that comes up for you?
Probably the biggest thing for me is I'm really bummed that my kids have not been able to see me in love in a healthy way. They've only like been with, I mean, they've only like lived in the house with one other person aside from their dad, like the girls. The boys are kind of detached from men. They have been for a long time, but the boys have only had two men and they were long-term marriages. But that part is hard because every relationship I've ever had, now that I'm reflecting during this single period, has been extremely unhealthy. And like, there's always yelling. There's always like, I've had things thrown at me. I've been pinned up against the wall in front of my sons and like those sorts of things. And it really makes me sad that my daughters will not see what that's like to not be like anxious or stressed or like crying all the time. That bums me out. So I'm just hoping it happens before they move out at some point so maybe they can see it in person. I don't know.
I can really relate to that. On my manifestation list on my mirror that Carla's really big with, like, write it out, put it out there what you want. It literally says, like, I want my daughter to see someone love me and me love somebody, because my entire childhood was watching chaos and never seeing love. Well, that ended up being one of the biggest things that I was like a takeaway from my childhood and then into my relationships, right? But it can happen and it will happen. So like just not removing that as that they're never going to see that, because even if they're older and you get older, there'll still be an opportunity, for them to see you love somebody and someone love you.
Yes, hopefully. I think my sons look at it differently, so they've kind of seen what's gone on and they're not like that. So they've seen it as I'm not going to be like that man.
Yeah.
I'm be different, and they absolutely are. I am not worried about them at all. But the girls are, women I just feel like are different. Like we just always want to be like accepted and loved on. Like I don't know why. I just feel like it's biological. But yeah, and then so in lieu of that, I'm just showing them like more self-love. Like I'm going to the barn because it makes me happy. I'm wearing this because I want to, even if, they don't know that I don't like how I look, but
Yeah.
inside, oh, I don't like how I look, like my cellulite showing or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I just try to always like make that normal. So
I think that's really important though, because I think a lot of us growing up didn't learn that at all. Like self-love was not something. And that is the most important love you have to have first, is self-love. So I
yeah,
think just them having that and you showing that to them, they will have a stronger foundation than some other people, because that is, your cup is full, you'll be able to fill other people's cups.
yeah, and you don't need that extra person to fill it. Like that's
Right.
not,
Exactly.
and be happy
Exactly.
with yourself. And I am like hoping they take time in their 20s and figure themselves out, because I was married from 16 to 24 and I had no time to figure out who I was as a woman because I was a mom. But like if they really spend time and travel and figure out who they are as women, like their lives are going to be so much more like full. And I'm just like, that's all I can hope for them.
Yeah.
If you have self-love, and I'm learning this at 41, right? Like I'm 41, I'm just figuring this shit out, right? It took a while, it took a lot of falls, but like if you have self-love, and I know that for our kids and even for my daughter as well, like the more she has the confidence and the security and the safety of her own self without the desire for something else, not that we don't want that, because I want it as well. I'm with you there. But like who they then choose in their life is so much better for them, because they love themselves regardless of what our journey is. That gift that you're giving them and that we're giving our girls, like when they walk into the world loving themselves, that makes a big difference with what they accept as love.
Exactly. And they're going to know, like, I deserve better than this,
Yeah.
because I'm a good person and I'm this and I'm that. And if someone's going to be in my life, then it's because, like, this is the kind of love that I deserve, So
Yeah,
that's what,
you're not settling for it. You're
Yeah.
actively like choosing it every day. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to stay too is huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you stay moving forward in your effort moment and not letting like those fears hold you back?
Mm, I mean, there are days when I'm not moving forward.
Ah, that's everyone.
There's definitely days where I'm like, I'm stuck in like a loop, where I'm like, why? Like I'm nice, I'm good. Just like whatever said. Like when she said I'm a good girl, I don't deserve this, like in my head, like that's what I tell myself. And it's like really childish and weird. But I am like, I'm loyal, I'm honest, I'm trustworthy. I don't understand what's wrong. But I don't know. I think it's just I want to teach them, I think, more now. It's like more of a teaching role. So for me, it took me until now, 36, to learn how to trust my intuition and not question it so much because it did fail me. I failed myself a lot as a teenager. But now, like, I want them to see me say, okay, this person doesn't make me feel good. That isn't good for me. I don't feel safe. I'm going to step away. So I think it's almost like building a relationship with somebody, but you're building it with yourself.
Yes.
And I want them to see like how that works. If something doesn't feel right, it likely isn't. Just step away. Like there are more people, there are more opportunities. Just make sure you keep yourself safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Moving forward, I think it's just all about like being the best example I can be for them.
That's how they learn the most. They're watching us. They're watching us. And that's, no matter all the words we say or yell or preach or whatever it may be, it really is in our actions and what we do that our kids like take away so much.
Yeah.
And you're giving them a beautiful gift. Like just it's a beautiful gift to show them strength and like independence and self-love and vulnerability and empathy and like create space for that because so many homes, even with two perfect parents, may not be getting that same
Yeah.
space,
Yeah. More of a push pull too. I mean, I'm sure you are happily married, but I feel like in a lot of homes, my homes, there was always this like push pull. So nothing ever really got to the kids. Like it didn't trickle down because we were too worried about like who's right and who's wrong. Whereas when it's just me, I'm just like rolling by my morals and like my standards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's nobody like throwing me off, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yes, I understand that. It is a hard thing to do when you have someone else in the mix for sure. Even if it's like a healthy relationship, sometimes it is hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, I think that's why it's important. Like you've probably found that is to find somebody that like shares the same sorts of, thought system when it comes to raising kids or
Yeah.
discipline or whatever. Like you guys are on the same page. So there isn't that budding because they're
Yes.
not
100%.
relationships.
Yeah. No, that
Really,
is true. Yeah.
so.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, you have one of the you guys got a good thing. You guys found like her and her husband have they're like they were just perfect together. I was like good mix to go into the world. And I love seeing that because again, it's not something I've always seen. And then I get to see these happy, healthy ones. And I'm like, it's there, it's out there.
I love my happy married friends because I'm like, thank you guys. Do you have a friend? Like, hook it up.
Yeah, I want to just thank you. This is the last question of the interview, but what advice would you give to somebody listening who is feeling kind of what you felt? What's your advice to anyone listening?
Don't look at the ground. I would say that's what I did all the time. I just looked at the ground. I didn't want any. I feel like I looked at the ground because I thought maybe if I didn't make eye contact with people, they wouldn't see me. It's just very strange. I wanted to feel invisible. I didn't want anyone to notice me. So maybe if I didn't look at them, they couldn't see me. So I think that like kept me in like a little shell, and my kids were not seeing me as like this confident leader who is like proud of my choice. My choice is to remain single until I find the person that is right for me, and I should be proud of that. I shouldn't feel like ashamed of it. So that's what I would say. Just like chin up always.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I
good.
mean, it's
That's a
great
good one.
advice. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't look at the ground. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. It's uncomfortable, but it's worth it once you get past it.
Well, that's why these effort moments, that's why we started this, but just being able to say fuck it sometimes, just fuck it. Like, fuck it, I'm not going to look at the ground today, fuck it, I'm going to look up. Fuck it, I'm going to let you see me, and I'm going to fucking be okay with what you see. Like, these moments are what we're having as women, as moms, and they're important to share.
And liberating.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for letting me share. I appreciate it. It was
Yeah, no, we're so grateful you came
Thank
on.
you.
Like, without these stories or people being open and vulnerable to share on here, like, we don't have the space that we're trying to create. So I'm grateful that you responded and we're open to it,
Yeah.
This is the part where, is there an Instagram people can follow you at, anything you're working on, or anything you want to shout out that you have going on that people can go to?
You can follow me on Instagram at Emotional Support Bay. That's pretty much it. I mean, I have a TikTok, but all the other links are in my bio
Your
on Instagram. Yeah.
Okay. Is it okay if we post that on here for people to follow, or are you okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great.
Awesome. Well, this
Thank
is the
you.
end. We're all going to say
Just
just
F
F
it.
it.